Have you heard of orphanage tourism? It's a popular and growing travel trend. Perhaps your tour provider to Asia, Africa, or Latin America has included in your itinerary a trip to a local orphanage or to an orphan dance show. If you're considering these options, or if you're traveling in a developing country and would like to learn more, we've compiled a list of 5 things that you should know about orphanage tourism.
Most people think an orphanage means a place for kids without parents or safe living conditions. In Cambodia and many other popular tourist destinations, that assumption is incorrect. According to a recent UN study, more than 3/4 of Cambodian orphans have one or more living parents. The rate of children living in orphanages has grown with the rate of tourism, even though the number of actual orphanages in the country has declined.
Many assume that the parents of children in orphanages have passed away or abandoned them. Sometimes this is true, but not always. Studies show that in some cases, owners of enterprising orphanages will travel to rural poor communities and tell families that their children will be better taken care of in their orphanages. They're sold the idea that Westerners will educate them and that they'll have a better life. Most of the times, though, these children are forced to perform in cultural dance shows night after night, or walk the streets with signs reading, "Donate to our orphanage." When we support these orphanages, we're actually helping separate more kids from their families.
So it's very important to remember that an orphanage should not be the first choice for a vulnerable child. It should be the absolute last options. This is also legislated by a lot of countries to prevent that children end up living their whole lives in orphanages. Better options for children is to be placed in foster care or reintegrated back with their families if the families are now strong enough to care for them.
The places that look the most in need are not necessarily the places you should give your money to. Many tourists come to Cambodia and they say, well, I saw a well-run orphanage, and then I saw one where the children didn't even have beds, so I gave my money there. In fact, many orphanage directors are very business savvy, and they know that the poorer an orphanage looks, the more likely they are to get your money. Orphanages where children are living in appalling conditions, where there are no social workers or untrained social workers, or where they have a policy of allowing unvetted tourists to come in and play with children. These aren't necessarily places you want to be giving your money to because it's likely that they're adding to child exploitation.
There is no way to make money is a common response both from orphanage directors and donors supporting their work. But there are many other responsible organizations in each country that do not put their children on display or do not allow unvetted travelers to visit, taking pictures or volunteer directly on short-term projects.
So what should I do?
Don't support the growing practice of orphanage tourism by visiting an orphanage on your vacation. Remember, children should not be treated like tourist attractions.
Rather than supporting organizations keeping children at risk, seek out organizations that support the reintegration of children and families.
So what's important to understand is that you should check that any organization you support is registered legally with the government in the country they're in, and that they do not allow a continuous stream of volunteers and tourists to come and play with the children in their care.
Contact people who live in that countries or who have extensive experiences in child rights work to better understand how the project might fit or stray from best practices.
Or, better yet, support organizations that are working to tackle the root causes of these problems: poverty, joblessness, health and education issues. There are also organizations that support programs of family reunification, or try and train adults so that they have enough income generating potential that they can keep kids at home. Not all aid is created equal. It's up to you to do the research so that your time and your money is spent effectively.